Okay, well, on behalf of the Independence Chamber of Commerce and the City of Independence, welcome to First Friday. As always, one of the first things we do is we thank our business sponsor for paying for your breakfast this morning. And as always, it's been provided by Annie Mae's, the best coffee shop in town. So I hope you enjoyed the muffins and the coffee, courtesy of Confectionate Fine Chocolates. So they are they are the ones that, like I said, paid for breakfast, but they also gave us a sweet sample of what can be found in their amazing candy store in downtown. So at this time, would you please welcome Jim Hayward and Rhonda Clark.
Good morning, everyone. We're happy you're here. I want to thank Lisa, the Chamber, and the City for allowing us to sponsor this early morning get-together, which is always packed full of information. It's hard to believe that 9 months ago tomorrow, we opened the doors at Confectionate Fine Chocolate, and thanks to all of you and many others, it's been very well received and very well supported. We're very happy to be here. If you didn't notice, when you picked up your coffee and muffins, there are little individual boxes of salted caramels over there. There's a milk and a dark variety. I think there's still some of each left. So if you didn't get one, please do. Just as an aside, I see several faces here that were at our gallery last night. We had an opening reception for a young artist, Whitney B. Powell from Caney, and she does amazing work with a pencil. They're portraits and they're animals, drawings that are photoreal. I mean, when you see these things, it's hard to believe they're done with a pencil. Anyway, the show will be up through the end of September, so please try to stop by. It's worth just experiencing these fine pieces. Do you want to add anything?
I would just, of course, I have to say something. I never ever got my name in the paper in my whole life except for speeding tickets or maybe a couple of divorces until I came to Independence, and now I just feel famous, and it's like, wow, no, seriously, thank you. I'm the type of person, I get energy from people who are kind, and I'm telling you, this town is full of kind, happy, progressive people. It's absolutely wonderful. There's no other way to live. There really isn't. So thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, so we're going to do a little something out of the ordinary. You know, Confectionate Fine Chocolates, I think, is a great little store in downtown Independence, and we all know and love it, and we've all had their chocolate. At least we've had our breakfast chocolate this morning. But I think, you know, typically it's not good manners to get on your phones, but I think you all need to pull out your phones and go and find Confectionate Fine Chocolate's Facebook page, like their Facebook page, and then take a picture of that chocolate and go share that, because that's how we tell people about all the amazing things that are happening in our community. We have to take advantage of social media. So you will not offend me right now if you grab your phone and go like Confectionate's Facebook page. And if you don't know how to do that, ask the person next to you. Find somebody young and ask them how to do that. All right, and we have a presentation we're going to make before we start with our speakers. And we're very excited to be able to make this plaque presentation to someone who's made a significant impact in our community, in particular in our downtown community for many, many years. He is a business owner, he is committed to our community, and he has made a significant impact on Farmers Market. And this morning we're going to give a plaque, make a plaque presentation to Terry Scott, and celebrate with him the 12 years that he has been doing, helping with the farmers market. He told me he's never missed a Saturday in 12 years. Now, how many of you can say you've done something for 12 years and never dropped a ball or forgotten something or missed a day? And not very many of us. And that's a commitment that Terry has to our community. As I said, he owns the American Soda Fountain, the Professional Building, Independence Pharmacy, and then he contributes to the farmers market. And without him, we wouldn't have the bell ringing and the banners and all the things that he has done to make our farmers market what it is. So at this time, I'd like to have our assistant city manager who's here, our commissioner who is here, and Tabitha from Main Street who is here, and Terry and group come up here and join us, and we'll make your presentation. Whether Terry wants to or not. I had to drag him down here. Okay. Well, we're getting in line here. Take it away, Rhonda.
Another example of an incredible person. One morning, I have this front-loading automatic washer, okay? I've never had one that you put the clothes in down here. And I'm famous for washing a load of clothes, and then 3 days later, I remember to take them out and put them in the dryer. So I go and I opened the door, and an ocean of water came out of that washer. I mean, it just, and we're upstairs, right? And there's the gallery below us. So I just went to screaming. I don't know where Jimmy was. He must have been hiding. I don't know. So I go running down the stairs, and here's Terry. Have you seen him with his little box? You know, have you ever seen him walking down the street? How many of you have seen him? Yeah, he's out there all the time. So he tears up he just flies up the steps, and in 2 seconds, he's got that washer shut off. He's got it pulled down. He's on his cell phone. He knows exactly what's wrong with it, and he would not take a cent. So he's a hero. He really is. Thank you for letting me tell that story.
Dedicated service and contribution to the farmers market in downtown Independence since 2007. And we have the Chamber, the city, and Main Street's logo. Tim Christian had a cake made with vegetables on it, so it has to be healthy. So you can take that back down to work and
stop by the pharmacy today and
have
have
some
some cake.
cake. So cozy in here, everybody. And Terry, here's your plaque. Kinds of things to celebrate. And I'm telling you, I was downtown at First Thursday, and that display at the gallery is amazing. She is an awesome artist. You have to go down there before the end of the month. Isn't that right, Jim? The 28th. I'm telling you, you must go by and see that. All right, so we're going to talk real quick about some things that are happening in the community. We have lots of shout-outs at the end of the day, and if you're not already on the shout-out list, we probably won't be able to get you in because we've got lots of shout-outs. So if we haven't had a conversation this morning, then we'll hold it for next time, and hopefully I will have covered it in a quick little rundown. So on your table, you have a calendar that Amy and Michelle have put together. It's two-sided, and then you have an additional bit of information, I believe, underneath there that it's a Niwala thing that we'll talk about. So let's talk about some things that you need to know ASAP. That would be tomorrow morning is the Optimus Club Pancake Breakfast. It's from 7 to noon. It's a fundraiser for them. Please, please, please come. It's $5 donation, so mark that on your calendar. Also tomorrow morning is the once a month community recycling, and that's from 8 to noon, so be sure and drop off your recyclables. You can also do that every Tuesday from 11 to 1, and on top of that, we will have our ICC Student Pirate athletes out there as volunteers, and tomorrow morning you will see men's basketball players, so they will be helping down at the sanitation yard picking up all your recyclables, and we'll be talking about a cleanup here in just a little bit. And then also, I should have Michael Harrison, who's the principal at Jefferson. He should be coming for a shout out, and he's going to be talking about the Drive for Your School, and it's sponsored by Ford Motor, and that's Saturday morning too. So be sure and mark that on your calendar. Also, we're going to do some candidates forum. The library's doing one on the 10th, and then the chamber's going to do one on the 24th here in the Civic Center for all three elections: the USD 446 election, ICC Board of Trustees, and the City Commission race. So we will be coming in here, and we will be starting at the times that are listed on your calendar on the 24th, and we will not start early. So if you just want to come for one forum, you can come at that time and you won't miss anything, or you can come for the entire event if you so choose. Also, we have the Can-Okla 100-mile sale. Go back up to September 13th and 14th, so you need to get your permit today if you want to have a sale and be on the city map that we're putting together at the chamber. And if not, then just go out and shop till you drop on that day. On the 13th, they're having Military Appreciation Night at the high school game. Everyone is encouraged to wear red. Even though we're playing Lebec County, who is red, they are wearing red as well in support of the military. So everybody that night will be wearing red. There's also going to be an EAA fly-in. We have a shout out about that, so mark that on your calendar next weekend. And there's going to be a ribbon cutting for the cannon at the museum, and we'll have a shout out about that later on. And we have a shout out on September the 20th about the Health on Purpose Wellness Fair. We have some ribbon cuttings that are coming up. There's a free cancer screening by the Masonic Lodge that they do every few years. So that's on the 21st. Mark your calendar for that. There will be another Meadowlark Lounge event, and we have a shout out about that. We have a Veterans Roundtable coming up. There's a shout out about that. And we have movie night on the 28th. That's the last movie of the season, so put that on your calendar. And then I also want to tell you that Niwala is coming up. Obviously, it'll be here before we know it. And one of our speakers today, Joanne Smith, is actually the creator of the ad that's on the table, and it has, because we couldn't fit it on the calendar, we decided to print off those, and that's everything that's happening at Niwala this year. So be sure and take that, put it on your refrigerator, get it on your calendar so that you are aware of all the great things happening at Niwala, in particular the Chase Bryant concert. So put that down. If we've forgotten something, if we have a little error or whatever, make sure you let me know about that. We'll get it all fixed before we publicize that on our Facebook page and send that out through our emails. And then lastly, I wanted to say that on the tables are some comment cards. And typically I ask you to write down comments about things that you'd like to hear and see and know more about at First Fridays. But today, if you have a question that you think would be appropriate for us to use for any of the races, 446, the Commission, and ICC, be sure and jot those down. You can just leave them on the table and we'll grab them. Because we're going to be asking that everyone turn in questions to us. You can call the chamber office. You can email me at lwilson@indkschamber.org. Come up and see me afterwards. But or if you're someone that you would like to just say, I'm going to write some questions and email them in to you, be sure and do that. So that will help us build a great forum. Other than that, we are ready to start with our speakers. Our community is very fortunate to have a community chest. They do a lot for our community. We are all contributors to the organization. They had their kickoff. And what's really cool about what you're going to hear from Mara Samora, their president, is the fact that it's a way for us to contribute, and they put all this money in a great little war chest that they then distribute out into the community. So at this time, would you please welcome their president, Mara Samora, to hear more about the community chest.
Thank you, Lisa. And I want to thank the Chamber and the City for giving me a spot today. I want to thank Jim Hayward, Fine Art, of course, for sponsoring, and not only for this morning, but for everything you do for the community. We have a list every year of donors to the community chest, and Jim Hayward Fine Art is always on it. So thank you, Jim and Rhonda, for everything you do for the community. I have the honor of being the president again this year. I was the president last year. of the Independence Area Community Chest. And I know many of you have heard me speak before, but I'll just tell you briefly what we do. The Community Chest was formed over 50 years ago. It started with an endowment from ARCO. And the purpose was to give local nonprofit agencies a way to apply for grants annually so that they can focus more on serving the community instead of fundraising. Fundraising can be very expensive, especially organizations that have to hire a grant writer and advertise, and it costs a lot of money to raise money. So the Community Chest gives them an avenue to give a presentation, tell us what they've done with the money possibly from last year and what they plan to do going forward with the money they've applied for. And we are a volunteer board. We try to spend as little money as possible. We currently have 12 on the board. I'd like to tell you who they are. Some of them are here. Lacey Bohr, Dana Clapp, Dean Hayes, Gary Hogsett, Bobby Mills, Gary Morrison, Sean Wallace, Michael Wright, Michael Yasusi, Joanne Evans, and Kelly Pudabaugh. Joanne Evans is with Westar, and we were happy to have someone from Westar on the board this year. They've been a huge donor for the Community Chest over the years. The board serves a 3-year term. You can serve 6 years. This is year 6 for me, so I'm going to have to step down this year, which is bittersweet. I've enjoyed being on this board very much. It's a very generous community, and I've met so many people through the Community Chest. So each year, the local service agencies apply for a grant in the spring, and then we have a day in June where some of us from the board, usually 5 or 6, we meet all day and we listen to the presentations. Every agency is given 10-15 minutes to tell us why they need money and what they plan to do with it. You have to be a 501c3, and it's not a complicated process, but we do try to make sure that the agencies are viable and that they have their financials in place and that they have a responsible board and that they're doing the right thing with the money. As I'm sure all of you would like to make sure your donations are being used as you intended. So the application process is in the spring. If you know anybody who has never applied to the Community Chest, please let them know about it, and they can get in touch with me or any board member. Shannon Moses is our executive secretary, and she can get them the application that they need. And right now, we haven't been able to give any money outside of the normal application window. We've done it in the past. I'm hoping we can do that again. Normally, you apply. If you have an emergency, certainly get in touch with us, but we'll see what we can do. I'm excited to tell you that we recently closed our 2019 campaign, and because of all of you, we exceeded our goal by 6%, so I'm very happy about that. Going forward, we try to raise about $100,000, and we've been very successful in that. So we raised a little more last year, so I'm very happy to report that. We had our kickoff, as Lisa mentioned, Friday night at the can opener. We decided to do a tailgate this year. In the past, we've done a New Year's Eve gala. We also did an auction this past spring. The kickoff was fun. It was just intended to be a fun tailgate for the can opener. And we had a good turnout. Sharon Wallace probably cooked a couple hundred hot dogs. And it was a good time. And many of the agencies we support were there, so I was happy to see that. The auction we had this spring that many of you supported, that was successful as well. We raised about $3,000 from that. And we had support from many people in the community. The city allowed us to use a building. Gio Isley from Midwest Auctions donated his time, and it was freezing cold, but it was a good morning, and we did very well. I don't know what we'll do next year. We're still thinking about that. But I hope you will continue to support the Community Chest. Every organization we support is worthy of your money, and everyone has their special organizations that they like, and that's what's great about the Community Chest, because there's so many different type of organizations that we support. And surely there's something that you will feel in your heart that you should give money to. We had 2 new organizations apply this year. One of them was the Caney Valley Agape Network. This is an organization based out of Caney, and they work in Montgomery County and Chautauqua County. What they're trying to do is identify the need in rural communities where people are shut in or homebound and distressed in some way, and maybe nobody would know that. So they are reaching out to the rural residents who need primarily food. As you may know, Caney has no grocery store anymore, so sometimes the people have no place to go and they don't have any way to get there either. So they're helping people with transportation and possibly identifying the other needs they have in their home. Another new agency this year was the Lions Club. The Lions Club was no longer able to run the Lions Den at the park, which made a significant impact on their budget. The Lions Club donates quite a bit of money in the past to several organizations, and they're just not going to be able to do that anymore. I forget the number they say they'll lose because of the Lions Den, but it was quite a bit. And they explained to us that they'll have to cut possibly their donation to the Children's Summer Theater and some of the Little League things that they support. As you know, they take care of Kittyland at the park, which is special to a lot of people, and they do a great job. So we're happy to help them in any way we can. I want to talk about a few other organizations. Many of them you know, and they've applied several years now, and we're happy to continue helping them. Home Sweet Home, Homeless Ministry. Chris Mitchell is very passionate about that. He always gives an excellent presentation. I'm sure you've heard him speak before. They started out serving 45 people in 2011. Last year they served 81. So it continues to grow. They're trying to establish new homes. I think they're working on their 3rd right now. It's unfortunate that we need this many, but we do. The need never ends. The Imagination Library, this is a favorite of mine. It costs $135 to give a child a book every month for 5 years. You need to be part of USD 446, and someone just signs you up, and then you will receive a free book every month for 5 years. And it's a different book every year. You're not getting the same book that your older brother and sister got. So they do a great job, and they're trying to expand. Right now it's USD 446. I'm not aware that they've gone any farther than that. But if you think about it, your donation toward that, $135 isn't a lot of money to give a child a book for 5 years, every single month. And it's everyone in your household. So I hope you will support them. You can get in touch with Terry Hogan about that. We support Hannah's House, of course. Again, they continue to grow. They are a residential program for people struggling with life-controlling addictions. And last year they had 92 residents. So that continues to grow as well. Kansas Legal Services. If you've ever needed legal advice and you simply can't afford it, Kansas Legal Services will help you. And they do a lot of PFAs, protection from abuse, a restraining order. They tell us that if someone calls in the morning and needs a restraining order, they try to get that entire process done by around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's an impressive program. It's free. Of course, you need to qualify, but they also help elderly people, people who have been maybe given something in a will or a trust, and then they just don't know what to do. So if you qualify, they will help you, and they helped 123 people in this area last year. What I like about them is, especially the restraining orders, they tell us sometimes it's the same person calling many times. Statistically, they tell us that if a woman is being abused, she will go back to that person at least 7 times. And sometimes They have repeat customers, and they don't judge. There's no counseling involved. They simply give people the legal advice that they need every time they call. Momentum is a program headed up by Julie Volker. This program works with people who, many of them are at Hannah's House or at the Home Sweet Home Homeless Ministry. And it's a program, I believe it's 13 weeks, it's every Wednesday night, and they teach people life skills, basically, how to budget, help managing their lives. Sometimes people have had no guidance at all as far as a checkbook and how to make a budget, how to make a resume. So they help people with those things in conjunction with the other organizations in town to try and move them forward in their life and get some housing and find a job. RSVP, that is the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. It's 55 and over volunteers who visit people who are homebound, drive people to doctor's appointments, and it's the largest network of senior volunteers, and I know how valuable they are to this community. There's many people who need to get to KU Med and places like that and have no way to get there. So you can call RSVP and they will coordinate a ride for you. They also work closely with Open Arms Dining and the Community Access Center and the VFW to get food to people who otherwise would not be able to get to the places like Open Arms Dining. They simply can't get there, so they'll bring it to you. We have several others. There's brochures over there. We're supporting 23 organizations this year, and now we need to raise the money that we've committed. So, again, we've committed $100,000 for the 2020 campaign, and again, they're all worthy organizations, and I hope you'll continue to support the Community Chest. I'd like to take just a moment to thank some of our major sponsors. Hugo's Industrial Supply has been very generous over the years. John Deere Foundation, the Westar Foundation, Textron Charitable Trust. We also have many organizations who are donating to the Community Chest through payroll deduction. That is the easiest way to do it. I hope you'll all speak to your employer, if they're not already offering that, as to how you could sign up for a payroll deduction. It can be $1 a paycheck, whatever you think you could spare, and then it all adds up. And even those of you who are paid bi-monthly, your $24 a year makes a huge difference when we add it all up with everybody else. We have several doing that already. First Oak Bank, Newkirk Dennis and Buckles, Community National Bank, Standard Motors, the John Deere Coffeyville employees, USD 446, City of Independence, Textron employees, and sometimes your employer will match whatever you are donating. So please ask about that. It's how a great deal of our money comes in, and we can't do it without you. We're fortunate every year to have some large donors that give us a great deal of money, but truly we take in quite a bit of our donations from many of you sitting here who are doing payroll deduction, and we appreciate that very much. Every little bit counts, as you know. I know every nonprofit says that, but it's true. And your money stays right here in the community. We serve 4 counties. And again, through our application process and the organizations we support, you can rest assured that your money will stay right here. And we spend very little of it to advertise and things like that. So thank you very much, and I hope you will support our 2020 campaign. Thank you.
Okay, so do you have a Facebook page? Okay, there you go. Get back on that phone real quick. Like the Community Chest Facebook page. And like she said, there are some envelopes over on the table, so if you're interested in donating, you can grab one of those on your way out. We were talking about all the cleanups that are happening in recycling, and there's a flyer on the table that looks like this, but you're also going to get it in your city newsletter. You're going to get it, I think, a small version of this in your water bill. You're going to see it on Facebook. It's on the city's website. Probably after today, we'll launch it. It's about the community-wide cleanup that we're doing. So we're going to have one on the first Saturday of October, and then we'll have a downtown one on the second Saturday of October. And so the one that's on the first Saturday, you need to know that it's from 8 to 3. You'll be able to drop off furniture and mattresses and building supplies and refrigerators and all those kinds of things that you want to clean up. And you can also drop off your recyclables as well. So that's a community cleanup day. The tree dump will also be open for free on that day. Class LTD will be doing free document shredding on that day. There will be dumpsters that are available in certain locations around the community and in the downtown area. So we want you to make sure and mark these days on your calendar, and also know that we have recycling, but in addition to recycling on every Tuesday and that first Saturday, they also take and accept trash, debris, appliances, furniture. So it's not just a recycling day on those particular days. And I say that because not very many communities have the availability of that kind of service for free in our community, like we do in Independence. So in an effort to keep our community pretty and beautiful, we've got to keep it clean, and the city is making that available to us, so we need to use it. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to David Cowan, who is from the city, and he is going to be talking about the strategic plan and possibly might be hitting on one of the directives around beautification. Please welcome David.
Good morning, Independence, and thank you, Lisa. As always, it's always an honor to come in front of the city and to present on behalf of the city. We have such a great city, and as they said earlier, it's such a loving community, and it's great to be a part of this city and to be able to work for you. So she gets, we can go on to the next slide. I wanted to take a moment, and this is kind of twofold, really. The strategic plan brought about beautification. It's directive number 3, which kind of fell under my purview. But we need to recognize where the genesis of this started. And this lady right here, she brought us Love Independence. She's been very instrumental in keeping the cleanups, the recycling. The chamber does a tremendous job. And that vision that Lisa, the chamber, Jerry Bright, and his organization brought about the strategic plan, and we are building on that. Lisa is a part of our committee, and I think that is very important, because that vision of Independence to beautify our community, to improve our community, to attract businesses, take care of our homes, is a part of this whole process. Building pride in our community and creating that loving environment that welcomes people to our community. We have such a great community, the park, the downtown, the businesses that are coming. Everything that is happening in this community is great, and we have to come together as a community, because Lisa, our committee, we can only do so much. We're now at the point where we need the community to come together and help us in this process, and we're going to talk about this as we go forward. Neighbor helping neighbor, neighbor watching the widowed lady that can't do it, or the elderly person that no longer has the means to take care of things. Working together as a community to improve our community. And that's a great thing that Lisa, that Jerry has done. And Jerry, I just at this time want to call you out. We're praying for you, brother. Jerry's battling a little health condition right now, and we're behind you 100%. And if there's anything we can do for you, brother, please let us know. We thank you for all that you do for the community. Next. So we had a huge task ahead of us, and the committee, and I'll mention the committee's names here in a minute, when we started out, we were like, man, we have to get the community behind us. We have to build support. How do we go about this process and do that? And these are just a few pictures. Of course, some of them are the dumpsters as people brought stuff. But this was all over our community. And we had the committee come up with this quick win project, a 60-day thing to remove trash. And go ahead. And we removed, folks, 187 tons of trash out of this community over those 90 days. And I quickly looked for a picture, and there isn't a picture of what 187 tons looks like, but that's a lot of trash. And it did make an impact, but we have a long ways to go, too. And you can see our costs related to that, our landfill costs. We had to use Mega to transport the trash to the landfill. And we also, during the start of this, we did not think about this at the start, but tires. We have a lot of tires in yards around the community. So halfway through this process, we brought this back to the committee and said, what are we going to do? And graciously, the city allowed us to do a tire disposal. That opportunity is still available to the citizens. As Lisa mentioned, October 1st, you can take your tires to the sanitation yard, and we are going to dispose of them. So that number there is going to change. But getting those tires out, because those tires, mosquitoes, they hold water, and we just need to get them removed. But so as you saw, our grand total was $15,000. So our focus now, as we've made it through that initial 90 days, is back on the community and the neighborhoods. And what are we going to do? And this is where we're going to need your help, because we can continue to do the fall, the spring cleanups. We may even do another quick win project, but there is trash and other things in the community that's going to take the neighborhoods coming together, maybe the churches working, identifying those people that need assistance to help move this trash and get it taken care of. I'm going to be introducing a new code enforcement officer, and as part of what the city does is we enforce the codes, and we don't want to have to penalize and fine people. We're trying to do this in a way that we can get the trash taken care of and moved out. But ultimately, if we cannot move it, then that's what our recourse is through the court system to remove the trash. So that's why we're reaching out, because we want to live in a place that is clean and well kept, and where we're proud of our community, proud to have family come and visit us, proud to have those football games on Saturday night when the other towns come to our town and they say something about our beautiful community. Next one. So another part of what we do is not only dealing with debris and trash and cleaning up our neighborhoods, but dealing with abandoned houses in our community. And I have to kind of give a shout out here to our staff, because we have a tremendous staff at the City of Independence. Currently, we're under the leadership of Kelly Passeur as interim city manager. She's steering our ship and doing a great job while the commission looks for a new city manager. But we also have a great director of finance in Lacey Lease, and April Nutt, our housing director, that do support me tremendously on this committee. And I took it back to them, how do we deal with the abandoned houses? Because prior to this year, we just took 10 to the commission last commission meeting. We dealt on a complaint basis. So I would get phone calls, Kelly would get phone calls from neighborhoods. They said, why are you taking this house? It needs to go, but 2 houses down, there's a house that half of it's on the ground already. Well, we were working on complaint basis. We were not out driving the streets looking. If you called, said this house has an issue, we were going out and we were dealing with it. So we may take out a house here, but have another house 2 doors down that was very bad. So Montgomery County appraisers, as we all know, appraise, I think they truly go every 3 years, but they appraise every single piece of property in town. And through that process, they identify the houses and they rank the houses. So with April and Lacey's direction and help, we were able to get that list. And I think if you switch, well, we're going to get there in a minute. We were able to get that list, and we identified these unsound properties in town. And Lacey and April said, let's do this. Let's identify them. We went and looked at what property taxes were owed on those houses, what their value was, and what was the cost going to be to the city if we removed those houses. And you can see there, we identified 44 houses. The assessed valuation of those houses was, I can't read my small print, $9,500. They had back taxes due of $21,000. The loss to the city if we removed those houses was going to be $2,000 a year. Kind of gives us a justification. And that works twofold, because when you take money away from tax dollars, that's less funds for the city. But if you remove something, if I have a building next to me that is falling down, what does that do to my property value? I'm proud of my house. Yeah, I don't want to pay thousands of dollars in property taxes, but I am proud of what I have and what I own, and I want it to be worth what it's worth if I want to sell it or do something with it. So by removing these bad houses, we can hopefully raise the property value of other houses, and we can clean up neighborhoods. Because as fire EMS, and I have a great fire EMS chief in Sean Wallace, and we want to shout out to Mary Jo, who was seriously injured this past week and is doing well. Sean, our prayers are with you and Mary Jo. Have an excellent fire department. But 90% of what we're responding to on our structure fires are abandoned houses that have vagrants in them that are either trying to stay warm or other type of activity going on that's setting these houses on fire. That is a danger not only to our firefighters putting the fire out, but it becomes a danger to the surrounding houses if those fires get out of control and creates life safety issues. So there's a whole bunch of things that work together. So we can jump to the next slide. There you can kind of see, I didn't blow it up too much. The map is kind of the list of the houses of where unsound properties are at. A little bit surprising to me, in the central part of the city, we have a lot more of those type of houses. You would think they'd be more in the older parts of town where the older houses are, but it's not necessarily true. So, and if you jump to the next slide, this is kind of the process that Lacey and April helped lead me through, where we went through and identified the houses. And we tried everything in the world to get a hold of people. I think we did over 3 attempts to make contacts with property owners. And you can see we received a lot of responses back, but ultimately we ended up with about 10 to 15 houses with absolutely no response from property owners back, that we were able then to justify taking to the city commission this past week and starting the condemnation process on those houses. And it costs the city between, what would you say, Lacey, $6,000 to $8,000 per house probably to remove that house. Because when the city does that, we have to abate the asbestos. Versus a property owner, if you want to remove something, you do not have to abate this asbestos as what the city does. Now, April has some neat, innovative ideas that she's working on, maybe some different ideas that we may be rolling out to maybe save the city some more money. We have to give our housing authority a shout out for the fact they give the city $50,000 each year towards demos. The city matches that $50,000, so $100,000 a year are put towards removing condemned structures and cleaning up these types of properties in the city. And for the most part, we pretty much go through it, don't we, Lacey? And utilize that money. So on to the next slide. Sorry, here, let me catch up. So our ultimate goal is reduction in the number of abandoned houses. We're hoping to decrease the trash and other items found in the streets and in front of homes, increase our neighborhood property values, realize a more efficient operation in trash. And I'm not going to speak a lot about this. This is more of Lacey and Mike. I can tell you we did present to the commission some proposals about once a week versus twice a week. And it's really a discussion, I think, as a community we need to have, and Lacey needs that feedback from you. You know, are you willing to go once a week polycart? Are you willing to make those changes? There could be efficiencies versus the twice a week that we're used to now. But those are all things that the commission kind of put back to Lacey and Mike. They needed more information. We have a lot of things going on, and I know it's on Lacey's plate. We may wait for our new leadership, our new boss to be here to tackle that. I don't know. But it's one of the things that is on our plate of how we can be more efficient with our trash, utilizing those resources and what those guys, because when they do twice a week pickup, it literally takes them 6 days a week of operation. We do once a week pickup, we could potentially go back to 5 days a week, but even freeing them up several days during the week to do other things besides just trash, brush, and limb cleanup, leaves, different things to help free up our street department. Our street department is taxed to the max. There are 8 guys that work there. They're trying to take care of streets. They do the stormwater drains. They have to pick up all the brush and tree limbs in town. They have to pick up all the leaves. They take care of all the signs. I mean, it just goes on. And that is 8 guys that try to accomplish that on a day-to-day basis. So they're very busy there. And of course, if we increase our participation in the recycling program, that decreases the amount of trash that we're taking to the landfill. And that is an excellent program that is ongoing on a daily basis. Okay. So these are all things that our committee is tackling. I want to point out the committee is made up majority of staff, but we do have some significant people for reasons on that committee from the public. We have Julie Isley that kind of represents the real estate type of a market and those opinions. She also owns a downtown business and a building, so we get some input from her. Of course, we have Lisa Wilson that has championed this and does a great effort every day of promoting our city and what we do. We have Jerry Bright and his organization, which does tremendous efforts in our community. And I cannot forget Steve McBride that's hiding over there in the corner that brings a lot of good information, his talents to the committee that helps us make these steps and makes these improvements each and every day. So I want to give those people a hand for what they're doing and helping the city. On the next slide, I want to introduce to you our new code enforcement officer. And this is Erin Musgrove. And you may know Erin because she used to work at the Independence Animal Hospital. And she is now with us here at the City of Independence. And you also may know that Erin is our 3rd person. We started this position, it's in the fire EMS department. It was not an additional position added to the city. It was through what Sean and I did in the department, of reorganizing in the department. And the first young lady we started out was doing a good job, but she met some resistance in the community. And to be honest with you, it scared her. She was a young lady having to deal with people, and it just scared her. Mark McClary, a firefighter for the City of Independence, stepped in. We were right in the middle of the quick win process, and he stepped in and filled a gap for us during that time to get us through that process and move us past that. Erin came on board in June, and she is doing a tremendous job. She has taken this, she has organized that, and she is out there. She does well with the public. She visits with them. She works with them. And she's out there just making a difference each and every day. So if you see Erin out on the street, say hi. her contact information. She carries that cell phone with her all the time, her office number and her email. You can get a hold of her. She's there to help. She's a vital part of the fire EMS department and what we do, both in the building department and code enforcement. She just got back from training where she can now do HQS inspections, which will help Dawn on different things. It helps April in stuff that she does in housing. She'll be now going off to be asbestos certified, so she'll be able to pull asbestos samples, which again helps us through our demo process and everything. Excellent person. I am very happy to have Erin on board, and she's doing an excellent job for Sean and I. These are some of the things, though, just to give you an example of what Erin faces on a day-to-day basis, that she goes out there and tackles, and she works with these people to deal with these type of issues. So that is a picture of our current tire pile down in the yard. We hope to add to that on October 1st and then get these tires out of the community. Some of Erin's current priorities is to sweep back through the community. She's literally going to go from one end of the community back to the other end, get a good idea of what we have, and so that we know how to go forward. We utilize that information at our committee then to help us make decisions on what we need to do to help get the trash out of the community. Okay, the next slide. One of the things that Lacey, Mike, and I are working on is revising our city dumpster program. We have a very affordable dumpster program that you can use to help clean up trash, debris at your house. They're not necessarily for construction or re-roof, but they're there for you as an owner or a tenant of a house to clean up your property. And I think Lacey, Mike, and I realized the previous program probably wasn't as friendly as what we would like it. I believe Lacey's going to be rolling this out. I saw an email from her last night to me saying she had a draft ready. I think she's waiting for some information from Jeff Chubb on a couple items. But we're trying to put a program together that is citizen-friendly, that works, and that makes them available to you, because this helps keep our community clean. So, and my last picture this is what Erin does on a day-to-day job. You can see in those two pictures how she tackled an issue, and then the end result in the upper right corner. Making our, upper left corner, excuse me. Making our community clean, working with somebody. This was simply working with them. There was no citations or anything else issued. Working with them, giving them the resources to help clean up the property. With that, Lisa, I'll turn it back to you.
David's real good about recognizing everybody but himself, and I think we need to give him a complete and total round of applause because he works tirelessly for the community and always has all of our best interest at hand. I get emails, I don't read them, but they come in at 4 and 5 in the morning from him, and he is doing great things in our community. So please help me thank David Cowan. Thank you. We appreciate him more than he knows. Our next speaker is not a new face, but she is going to talk about a new venture. So would you please welcome the new owner of Southeast Kansas Living, Joanne Smith.
Okay, Lisa, I had a birthday about 3 days ago. When you say I'm not a new face, that kind of stings a little. Not really. It's just a number, right? Actually, thank you, Lisa, for inviting me today, and thanks to the city for allowing me to be a speaker today, and appreciate all of you and your time as well. This is a really exciting new venture for me, and I'm thrilled to tell you about it today. So I know most of you in the room, I think, and a lot of you probably know my story that I used to be employed at the local hospital, and 4 years ago when the hospital closed its doors, that was an end to my career there, and I began to search for other options, other opportunities. Had never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur, but that developed over time, and actually with the help of the city, who asked me to do some freelance work for them, and other great advisors I had around the area really helped me develop that. And so I have built a small marketing company. It's called Fab Creative Services. The little logo there is in the corner of the slide, and do a little bit of everything marketing related, from event planning to design and writing and working with media to actually making things. I work a lot at the Fab Lab on the campus of Independence Community College, and make signs and banners and etch cups, all those kinds of things. It's very miscellaneous, very diverse, and really fun job, fun career. But I have been looking always. I'm always looking for more or other things to do, and I was looking for a way to grow my business. Didn't know exactly how that was going to happen. I'm super busy as it is, but I was looking for a way to expand the business. And I, out of the blue, one evening I was at home working in my home office, and I received a text message from a friend who had another friend who was a magazine publisher who she knew was going to be moving from the area and probably was going to need to sell her business. And I knew who she was talking about. I was familiar with Southeast Kansas Living magazine. I didn't have a subscription, but I had seen it, and I had heard the publisher speak before. I knew it was a well-respected publication. It was known to be, very beautiful and quality printed piece. And so I thought, this is probably something I should consider, and for really a different reason, other than just I knew it was a great product. It actually brought me full circle to my own college education. I was actually a journalism major, went to the University of Kansas, graduated quite some time ago, but my degree, it was journalism. My emphasis was actually magazine. And that's what I had envisioned, not necessarily owning a magazine, but working for a magazine someday. So when I was a senior in college, in my magazine design class, we were given the assignment of creating a prototype magazine, just a fictional magazine that we had to create. We had to lay it all out. We had to come up, of course, with the name and a theme for our magazine, and put it all together in page order and create ideas for articles and that kind of thing. And so my prototype magazine, I'm going to skip. This is just the current issue. My prototype magazine was called Heartland Destinations. And it was a magazine designed around Midwest travel and important sites and attractions and things happening in the Midwest. So it's kind of, it was one of those goosebumpy moments like, well, not only was I interested in magazine from the beginning, this was the type of magazine that I wanted to produce. And Southeast Kansas Living is just about that, but very specific, of course, just as you might guess from the name, very specific to our region of the state, our special corner of the world. It features historic icons, landmarks, places, people, things that really make what we all know is special about our region. So I wanted to continue that tradition. And so I have now taken over the magazine just July 1st. I've had it now, so I guess about 6 weeks. And my first issue is going to go to print, fingers crossed, later today. And I'm very excited to bring it a fresh new product, fresh but still very much based on the foundations that were established by the previous owner. So like I said, she focuses on everything that's special about our area, not just places to visit necessarily and things to do, but people. And I see several people in the audience who have been featured in the past. I see people who advertise in the magazine, and I see someone who's actually going to be featured in the upcoming issue. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but I will tell you that we will be doing, there is a feature on our new bed and breakfast in town, the Magnolia Blossom Inn. And that's kind of, not everybody knows the background, and not all of the readers will know. But when I created the magazine, I had a couple of features in there that I wanted to recreate in my real magazine. So my fictional magazine had a story about bed and breakfast in the heartland, and so I wanted to recreate a bed and breakfast story, and so that will be the feature on Magnolia Blossom Inn. The magazine also had a feature on just creating like your own getaway in your backyard, a romantic hideaway in your backyard, and so I have actually worked with a designer who is from Independence, grew up in Independence, and now is an award-winning designer who works lives in the Kansas City area. She has done a guest column for me on creating a little getaway space in your backyard. So it's just kind of a fun little connection for me. It's a great full circle thing. I want the magazine to continue the traditions that have been in place, but I want it to do even more and be even more for Southeast Kansas. I really want it to be a tool. I want us to all be proud of our region, just like David was talking about community pride, and in this case, of course, I have to be careful not to be too Independence biased, and everything in the magazine can't just be featuring it, can't all be from Independence, but I was telling Lisa we could probably make an Independence magazine, and there's enough going on and enough great things to feature, but what I want to do is I want it to be a real tool for our region. I want it to, everyone who advertises in the magazine, I want them to get great visibility, great exposure. Everyone who puts their work in my magazine. I'm going to do a few things a little bit differently than the previous publisher. I'm going to feature a different photographer in each issue, feature their work on the cover and interior pages. I'm going to do other guest columns, just like the designer who has created a column for me this time. It may be a cook, it may be a construction person, who knows what it might be. It may be a landscaper. We'll feature other columns as well. We may not only feature photography, but maybe art as well. The cover may not always be a photo. It could be a painting or a drawing or a piece of art. And like I said, just really want it to work for everybody in Southeast Kansas. I hope to grow the subscription base a little bit. Right now, it's about 1,125, 1,150 subscribers. I think there's room for more. We have a lot of people from out of state, people who grew up here who subscribe to the magazine. A lot of people purchase the magazine as a gift for someone else, and often that's someone who's moved away, and to kind of reconnect them back to our community. So I hope people who don't already live here and don't already know how special we are and all the great things, I hope they will see us as a place that they would like to come and visit or work or move and live, or maybe relocate their business, whatever it might be. I'm all about entrepreneurship and economic development, and I want it to support that in any way that it can. So, I don't want to give away all the secrets, but I did promise to do a little sneak peek today. So I think our next slide. Oh, well, just to back. This is back from the Prototype magazine. I should mention that in the day that when I was a senior many years ago, digital publishing wasn't an option for college students. So the way that we actually created a magazine. And I brought the antique Prototype right here, and you can see the pieces are falling out of it. It was all the photos, even the borders around the pages, the page numbers, the text, everything was clipped from other magazines and glued on in place where it needed to go. So that's how it was done there. It took me many hours to create that Prototype. It's taken me many hours to create the first issue of this magazine as well, even with digital publishing. But it's been very painstaking because I want it to be as perfect as possible. And then just a little sneak peek, this will be the cover of the first issue, the fall issue. It's actually, as I said, going to print today, and will be out in about 3 weeks or less, out in the mail. The cover photo, it replicates, I had done a windmill photo on my Prototype magazine, and this actually is a wind energy windmill rather than an old-time windmill from a farm. This is a photo that was taken by Mark Metcalf, and I think most of you probably know Mark. He's an amazing photographer, especially with landscapes and nature. And so I featured Mark in this photo on the cover, as well as some interior shots as well. And you can see the kind of teaser lines on the front cover there, orchestrating success in Southeast Kansas. that's a feature about the Southeast Kansas Symphony that is based at Pittsburgh State University. Outrageous Outhouses. Some of you are probably familiar with the now 23-year running Outhouse Tour in Elk Falls, which is coming up in November. It is absolutely hilarious, and that's something that everybody has got to go and see. It's put Elk Falls on the map for sure. And Local Roots Global Impact, that is another new feature that I'm going to add to every issue. I'm going to feature a Southeast Kansan who has gone on from here to make a tremendous impact in the world in some fashion. So we have countless people like that as well. So I'm from this area originally and have always loved being here. I'm fortunate that I was able to stay here when my job ended a few years ago and create the business that I have begun to grow here. It's my real privilege now to be able to showcase it for everyone, all my neighbors and friends, and for people outside of our area who I hope will take something away from it as well. So I did have a handful of copies of the most recent issue. If anyone would like to take a look, if you haven't seen it before, you can see what it looks like. And there's a little information on how to subscribe as well. The way the magazine is produced, and I'm going to continue the same schedule, is every other year, odd-numbered years like this one, there are 4 issues. It comes out seasonally, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And then on an even-numbered year, so next year there will be a 5th edition that's produced in the spring. And that one has traditionally always been titled Adventures and Day Trips. So kind of a list or countdown of great places to go and visit as you're planning maybe your summer vacations or weekend trips. So that one might take a little bit different approach as well, but it will be similar. So it's a great value. For $23 a year, you get 4 or 5 issues, and we'd love to have you be a part of it and see the issues as they come out. So if you have any questions for me later, all the contact information is provided on the table as well. So thank you all for the opportunity to share that with you. I'm super excited about this venture, and I appreciate your time.
Well, congratulations on that. We can't wait to see it. And, Christmas is coming up, so that's an easy way to get one of those gifts checked off your list. So head on over to the table when we're done. Actually, we had a change up in our speakers, and so Lori could not be here from Washington Historic Residences, but I do want to let you know that on the 20th at 11:30, there's going to be a ribbon cutting for the Washington Historic Residences, and I believe their open house starts at 10:30. And if you have not been in that facility, you need to go. It is so incredibly cool looking on the inside. They've kept the historic nature and the integrity of the building. All of the rooms are classrooms. You can go into one, it says principal above the door, and there's an apartment there. It is just really, really cool what they have done to maintain the historic nature and beauty of that building. So before we wrap things up, I want to thank Jim and Rhonda again for everything, not just for this morning, for your commitment to downtown, for having 2 businesses that are unique and eclectic and make our downtown like none other, and you're always willing to support us in everything we do. How many times can you come to an event and you get breakfast for free, plus you get a little dessert all packaged up nice and pretty on the table? And so thank you for this morning, and thank you for all you do for our community. We appreciate you, and we're glad that you chose Independence to make your home. And you should all check out the gallery because that's really, really cool. We have some presentation. Well, yes, let's give them a round of applause. Very much deserved. We have a plaque presentation to do and some shout outs, and they're very important shout outs. So all I need is about 5 more minutes of your time, so hang real tight. And at this time, I would like to ask Standard Motor Products to come join us right up front, along with our interim city manager, our commissioner, and Tricia from Montgomery County Action Council. We're going to do a little presentation up here. So it wasn't that long ago that we gave Standard Motor Products a plaque for being in our community for 50 years. And today we're excited to give them another plaque to hang in their facility because now it's been 55 years. But what makes this year significant is this is the 100th year anniversary that Standard Motor Products has been a company worldwide. And so we appreciate their support in our community. They provide hundreds of jobs in our community and outside of the area and make a significant impact by all of their donations to Independence. And we wanted to recognize them and celebrate with them and congratulate them on their 100th year as a company. So with that, we have a plaque that says Standard Motor Products, celebrating a century of excellence. Thank you for being a part of the business community at Independence since 1964 and serving the world since 1919. From the Chamber of the City of Independence and the Montgomery County Action Council. This is close to being a paparazzi. Congratulations. Thank you. And they have all kinds of things planned within their company and lots of celebrations going on, so congratulations on that. All right, it's time for shout-outs. You know who you are. And we're going to start with Dave Harson, so if everybody could come right up here and get in line, and I promise you they're going to keep it to 30 seconds. Come on up, right after Dave. It will be Mike and Brett, just stay right there, Dave, and Doug Harlan, Tamisha, keep on coming, everybody get up here. Kathy Shepard, Susie, Laura, Pastor Earl, everybody ready? And Crystal Wanzer, I don't know if Crystal's here. Okay, hit it, Dave.
Well, since someone canceled, I figured that gave me more time. What I'm doing is Atmos Energy has donated 6 club-level tickets and a parking pass to a Chiefs game with the Minnesota Vikings, November the 3rd. We're selling raffle tickets, one for $20 or 3 for $50, and several of you in this room have already bought them from me. I very much appreciate it. All of that money is going to the Cancer Center, and we're taking that money out to the facility on Peter Pan, and that money is going to help people that need rides to Kansas City or Wichita for treatments, gift cards, things of that nature. So it's a great cause. Even if you're not a Chiefs fan, your money is going straight to that facility in that 30 seconds worth. So thank you. I'm going to hang around in the back end because I'm sure you're going to want to come buy tickets. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
I'm Mike Flood. I'm with the entertainment here in town, and I'm going to tell you about some entertainment that's going on. To start with, we're having our second Meadowlark Lounge event, which is singer-songwriter performance on September the 21st at the Independence Historical Museum. Tickets are on sale now. We also, on the 21st, have Southeast Kansas Kids Have Talent, and that's a fundraiser for Uppercut Boxing in the Independence Science and Technology Center. It's at the Wesley Center. There's flyers over on the table, by the way. Also, had a little something to do with Chase Bryant being the opening act here at, not the opening act, but the main act for Niwala on October the 26th, and on the 9th, the tickets go on sale online at niwala.com. And last but not least, our friends, the Oak Ridge Boys, are coming back to Independence on November the 30th at Memorial Hall for Down Home Christmas. And those tickets are now on sale at, I'm sorry, I've got a nerve in my neck that's killing me. But anyway, there's flyers over on the table, and pick them up, and there's lots of entertainment going on.
Thank you, Mike.
The celebration of flight, September 14th, is going to be conducted at the Independence Airport. It's being coordinated by our group, the Experimental Aircraft Association. We inspire, encourage, and support people to pursue a career in aviation and also as a hobby. It has the potential, this has the potential of being a significant event here in Independence. Pilots from the region, there'll be forums for pilots and young people. Last year, this event was held in Parsons, Kansas, where they gave away 175 free rides to young people. And we expect to be doing that again here this year. There's flyers over there on the table. If you are a business owner and you want to participate to help support it, we're looking for raffle prizes. And we appreciate the Independence's support. Thank you.
I'm Doug Harlan. I'm with the VFW here in Independence. And what we have discovered is that there are 5,000 veterans in the immediate area that don't know they have pensions coming, they don't know they have health benefits, and they don't know about their educational benefits that they can use. What we're doing is setting up meetings. The next one is the 26th of this month, 26th, 27th, 28th. Please, all of you come and attend. We'll feed you, and you can see what we're doing. But we figured out what an impact it makes on our community to help all these people, especially because of the population of Independence is only 8,500 anyway, so 5,000 of them are veterans. That's pretty huge. That's a large impact on our community. The Chamber of Commerce has showed confidence in what we're doing. We'd like to thank them. Thank you for everything. There's a lot of people in this room that have helped with the Veterans Day of Honor. Yeah, that's huge. It's all volunteer, and that's about it, I guess.
You have to use the microphone because they're filming it. That's why. So, and we want to make a check presentation. So the chamber is responsible for dispersing guest tax money, and that guest tax is to be used to generate tourism, to get people to come to our community, stay in our hotels, spend money in our community, and make a difference. And so we're being good stewards of that money. We have a grant committee. We have individuals come and they make grant presentations, and then that grant selection committee decides the disbursement of those funds. And it is my pleasure and honor to give the veterans this year a check for you to use to help with the roundup. They've already done one roundup. This will be their second roundup. They're going to be doing 2 more next year. They're working to get the national convention in our community in the near future, hopefully. They are filling hotel rooms when these people come into our community. So we appreciate all that they're doing. They're all sitting right here, some of you. We appreciate your service, and we are very thankful for everything that you do. And all of you, remember, we're having our Veterans Day of Honor coming up on November the 9th. Mark that on your calendar. And if you want to get involved, please let me know. But congratulations again on all that you're doing for our community. And we know you're going to use the money, and you're very welcome. Thank you.
In the military, we call people like Lisa a force multiplier. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's a huge compliment.
Okay.
Check it out.
Come on, Teresa.
Okay, I'll be really brief this morning. Just wanted to let you know about a few things going on at the gallery and with Astra. On September 14th at 1 p.m., we'll be having a class called Doodle It Out, which is a great class about drawing and doodling for people of all ages, so you can bring your kids. September 15th at 2 p.m., we'll be having a mosaics class where we'll be making picture frames. September 21st at 1, we'll have an alcohol inks class, which is actually new, about how to use alcohol inks to make flower designs. And then for Astra, we'll be doing our first fundraiser this year. On Friday the 13th, we'll be having a spooky fundraiser. Come on down to meet us at the museum at 7 p.m., and we will be having a special paranormal research event with Strange Days podcast. So be sure to come and check that out. That's $15. And then on Saturday, September 14th, just the next day, at 7 p.m. at the library, for $20, we will be doing a similar event, but we will also be having drinks and snacks and a little tour of the library. So be sure you come and check those out. Those are both on the Eclectics Facebook page and the Astra Facebook page. And just a quick note about the forum on September 10th at the library that they are hosting. That is specifically for the USD 446 candidates. And then the one on the 24th is for all local candidates. So thank you.
Michael Harrison. I'm the principal at Jefferson School, so thank you for having me. Tomorrow, Jefferson School and Eisenhower School will be partnering with Quality Motors and the Ford Motor Company to host a Drive for Your School event. If you've never heard of that before, the quick version of that is Quality Motors provides vehicles for community members to come out and test drive, and for every test drive that is taken, they donate $20 to the schools, up to $6,000. So we will be in the Jefferson School parking lot tomorrow from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. If you could come out and test drive a car, we'd greatly appreciate it. Help spread the word, because all of the money that is donated to us goes directly to our kids and different activities and services that we provide to them. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Steve McBride. I'm actually representing this Independence Historical Museum and Arts Center. And on behalf of them, I'd like to invite the public to attend a special ribbon cutting and reception Saturday, the 14th at 10 o'clock. It will be the dedication, or it will be a ribbon cutting for our newest, latest artifact, which is a 1919 cannon. Now, the board has kept me away from the cannon because I want to discharge it, and they're not allowing me to do that. But we'll have a reception. I'd like for everyone to come out and attend and have a good time. I think we'll have a real blast. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Shepard, and I wanted to talk to you today real quickly about the Health on Purpose Wellness Fair that's coming up on September 20th. Right here in the Civic Center. It's from 7 a.m. until 12:30, and there's activities, demonstrations, lots of freebies, door prizes. We're actually going to draw from one of the people attending to win a Fitbit type health tracker. So that's just for an individual that happens to come through. You also can come early that morning and do blood work. The blood draws are $25. You can add on a PSA for $6, vitamin D for $15, and a vitamin B12 for $15. We also are going to discount the first 100 people who come through the door on their health screenings, and that's provided through the vendors that come that day. So come out and see what they have to offer in our community. There will be free screenings, a balance testing from a couple different organizations. Your blood pressure can be screened, BMI. There will be depression screening, hearing screenings, hereditary cancer gene screening, an oral cancer screening, and then orthopedic health and knee testing for you. And then the flu shots will be available through the Montgomery County Health Department for $25. They have a super dose, I guess, for people who are 60 and older. So come on out that day and join us. There will be lots of fun things going on.
Thank you. You can hand it to Crystal. Come right over here so she can get you on the cat.
Hi guys, Crystal Wanzer from Mossy Oak Properties. September 28th is Conservation Day, so we have teamed up with Lee's Cooling and Heating and Woods Lumber here in town. We are going to be building birdhouses on September 28th for wildlife preservation from 11 to 2. It's going to be at Lee's Cooling and Heating, 118 South 8th. We're also going to provide lunch for anyone that attends. So please come and join us for that day. You can hear our ad on the radio on 94.9 and 102.9. It comes on once an hour, so if you forget anything, definitely listen to those stations and you'll hear us. We're going to start an event tomorrow on Facebook, so we'll try to get that to everybody, get it out there. So please come and join us if you can. Thanks.
Thank you. Susie, go ahead.
Susie Kleinbeck, and the First Presbyterian Church is having our 12th annual free seasonal flu shots. They're on October the 12th. It's where you drive through in your car. You just roll down your window. Of course, you might have to push a button instead of roll. And we give you a flu shot and off you go. Most people get through within 10 minutes. It'll start for the public at 9 o'clock or as soon as we're ready. And we're always finished. We just first come, first serve. We've never gone past 11:30. So please come out. Do you bring a canned good at this? Yes, thank you for helping me. Yes, we ask that you bring a non-perishable cans, and we give those to the CAC food basket for Thanksgiving distribution.
Thank you, Susie. Laura?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Laura Samford with Class LTD. We work with people who are disabled in the community, and we've had the pleasure of being here for several years. We actually get to celebrate next year 45 years, and we're excited about that. But we have an upcoming event to help raise funds. We've heard about fundraising this morning and how important it is to organizations. And so we do fundraising, and right here we're having a murder mystery event at the Booth Hotel on September 28th. There are some flyers over there on the table, and we'd love for you to join us. To get tickets, go to Eventbrite or call the office.
Thank you.
I'm Pastor Earl Haggard from the First United Methodist Church here in town, and we are very excited that in 1869, there was a group of people who met at a ford in the Verdigris River, and they planted a church. And that church went on to be the First United Methodist Church in Independence. And we're having a celebration on September the 29th. It's the last Sunday of the month. And at 9:30, we will have brunch at the Wesley Center. And there's no cost involved. It's just come and enjoy brunch. And then at 10:15, we will be in the sanctuary of the church, and we will have a celebration of our 150 years. We are very proud to be a part of this community and to be able to bring the love and and what we think is one of the best things is that it brings the love of Christ to this community. So that's September 29th, 9:30 and 10:15, and you're all invited.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, so with that, remember to go to the Methodist Church Wesley Center tomorrow morning for pancakes and support the Optimist Club. Mark all of those shout-outs on your calendars. And I do just have to re-emphasize, please go out and drive a car tomorrow from 9 to 3. I can't imagine an easier way to raise $6,000 for our kids. So carve out some time, go pick out a car, then head to the car lot, buy the car, generate some economy. But I appreciate you all coming today. We had a large crowd, and we will see you next month. And please enjoy all that we have to offer in the community by taking those calendars, putting it on your planner, and making sure you take in everything Independence has to offer. Thank you for coming.